Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Retta Washington McCoy, and I am the first Vice President of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women Dallas Metropolitan Chapter, and we want to welcome everyone to our SisterNomics Basic Money Management, the Science of Personal Credit webinar this evening. We want to share a little bit about our SisterNomics program with you. Our SisterNomics program is a financial literacy program designed for helping families with wealth building and entrepreneurship. This particular session is being sponsored by the Coca-Cola Foundation, and our goal is to ensure that we help promote increased financial literacy in our communities, encourage retirement planning and wealth building strategies regardless of the life cycle stage anyone is currently in, and to help professional development of all those seeking more understanding about financial literacy and wealth building. At this time, I would like to introduce to you our president of the Dallas chapter, Ms. Sonia Irby.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you, First VP Retta Washington McCoy. I appreciate the introduction. I just want to take a few moments to first and foremost welcome all of our participants, and then also to take this time to tell you a little bit about our organization. Hopefully you're familiar with our organization, but if not, let me introduce you to the National Coalition of 100 Black Women Incorporated, the Dallas Metropolitan Chapter. Our organization, the national organization, is a 39-year-old advocacy organization founded in 1981. Today, we have 61 chapters and over 31 members, or 3,500 members, I should say, across the United States. Our mission is to advocate on behalf of Black women and girls in the areas of health, education, and economic empowerment, promoting leadership development and gender equity. Our vision is to see Black women and girls live in a world where socioeconomic inequity simply does not exist. So a little bit about the Dallas Metropolitan Chapter. Our chapter was chartered in June of 2018, led by our charter president, Mia Johnson, whose vision it was for us to be a voice in the community and address the concerns of Black women and girls in the Dallas area. We have been working over the past 2.5 years to bring to life that vision, and I am honored to serve as the president of our organization today. One of the ways that we advocate is providing education and resources, similar to the programming that you're participating in tonight. And we cannot do that without the support of great partners. We are very fortunate on the national level to have some very powerful, very high-powered partners that we work with. The Coca-Cola Company, Truist Foundation, and Major League Soccer. And I just want to take an additional moment or two to tell you about each partner and how they have a relationship with our national organization and how we bring that to life at the local level. The Coca-Cola Company, we're all familiar with, their purpose is to refresh the world and make a difference. They employ more than 700,000 people around the world, and they're helping to bring economic opportunity into local communities worldwide. And the Truist Foundation, they're committed to Truist Financial Corporation's purpose to inspire and build local communities. The Truist Foundation's grants and their activities focus on leadership development, economic mobility, thriving communities, and educational equity. So you can see how our organizations are aligned on our purpose and our missions. And we are also excited to announce a recent partnership with Major League Soccer. The goal of that partnership is to expose young Black girls, middle and high school age girls, to life opportunities through soccer. And the partnership will include sessions around health, education, leadership, and opportunities to pursue lifelong goals. So we are thrilled to be a part of these partnerships and have the opportunity to bring this programming to a local level. If this is your first time participating with us, we do hope that you'll come back and join us for other programs in the future. Stay connected with us. At the end of this program, we'll provide you all of our social media information and our website address so that you can continue to stay connected to us and hear about our future programming. But just to give you a sneak peek into some of the things that we have coming up, our next installment of our SisterNomics program, Women in Wealth, will be held on March 9th, and we'll be launching information and registration information for that shortly. The Barbara Jordan Civic Engagement Series on March 25th, we'll be talking about healthcare and legislation, and we hope you'll join us for that as well. And then we're really excited to launch our second annual Signature Scholarship Virtual Gala on April 24th. Through this gala, we'll raise funds to provide scholarships for deserving Black women and girls in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If you're listening to us tonight and you have seniors in high school, senior girls in high school, please pay attention to our website and look for more information about opportunities to apply for scholarships. So we appreciate you joining us tonight, and I commend each and every one of you for investing in your financial future. If you're watching us live via Facebook tonight, I ask you to tag and share this live with your friends and your family. Ask them to join us and take part in our programming tonight. We are proud to launch our signature economic empowerment program, SisterNomics, in partnership with tonight's sponsor, the Coca-Cola Company. SisterNomics focuses on financial literacy, family wealth, and entrepreneurship. We are excited to provide this financial literacy programming with the support of our national partner, again, the Coca-Cola Company. And this speaks to our concerns about Black women and girls in the local Dallas area as it relates to their financial health. Our desire is not only to educate, but encourage financial well-being and financial freedom, giving us all the financial freedom we need to make the choices to enjoy our lives. So thank you again for joining us tonight. I am excited about the opportunity to hear from our speaker. And with that, I will turn it back over to our first VP of programs, Retta Washington McCoy, to introduce our speaker for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. That was a wonderful introduction of our program. So let me just jump right into introducing our speaker so we can hear from her next. Leontine Martin, who is affectionately known to family and friends as Candy, is the owner of Martin Business Solutions based in Slidell, Louisiana. Her company has been established since 1999 and was formerly known as Candy's Tax Service. Both operations are well known for delivering first-rate customer care and professional business services to clients. Ms. Martin is a business developer, tax strategist, CFO, financial coach, and credit restoration expert, and she stays abreast of the changes in the ever-evolving business and tax industries. She earned an Associate of Science degree in Marketing Management and Advertising from Southwest Mississippi Community College and also studied real estate there. She has studied business at Dillard University in New Orleans and Southern University in Baton Rouge. She received certifications in electronic return origination with the IRS, Refund Advantage Banking, QuickBooks Pro, and event planning. She's busy. Ms. Martin regularly conducts credit, tax, and business seminars for men and women seeking to learn more in those areas. As an ordained minister at the Living the Word International, Ms. Martin particularly enjoys working with churches and helping men and women of God become better stewards of their bountiful blessings. In her personal life, she is a devoted wife to Eddie Martin and the mother of two amazing children, Ashwante and James. And at this time, I want to introduce you to Ms. Candy Martin, our presenter for the hour.
Well, hello, ladies. Hello, everyone. It is such an honor and a joy to be with you all on tonight. I am excited. Anytime I get an opportunity to share what I've learned to maybe help someone else from making mistakes, or if you're doing great, how to make it even better. So I'm super excited. I want to thank this organization. I want to thank them for even allowing me the opportunity to be on their platform. I'm excited about the work that they're doing. I've been stalking their pages like, oh, I didn't know they did that. And oh, that is so nice, because it speaks to a lot of what we do at our company, as well as in our nonprofit organization. We strongly believe in educating our people, our generation, especially women. For so long, we have not had the information, but now we have the information. So now it is time to apply it. So I always give this disclosure before I start presenting and talking. I don't want this just to be another event that you're attending for likes or shares. I want you to take this information and apply it. The best thing that you can do for this organization, for the Dallas chapter, is to write back and say, hey, I attended this workshop back in February, and this is what I did. I applied it and it worked. That would do tremendous. We do appreciate the likes and shares, but the results is what we're after. So I'm not going to talk long, because I just want to just get all excited about it, because it's such a wonderful thing. And so I do want to thank the NCBW Dallas chapter, and I thank you, ladies. So let's get right into it. Let's get down to business. Let me make sure that I can share my screen. And I hope everyone can hear me okay. All right, I just need the screen sharing capability. And I'll wait a second. I tell everybody, technology has taught us all a thing or two. All right, let me try it again. All right, let me try one more time. And we thank you all for being so patient with us. All right, there we are. We're rocking and rolling, ready to share. All right, so tonight, we're going to be talking about the science of personal credit. Everything has a cause and effect, or if you do this, then this will happen. So we're going to get into it. And one of my things I always tell people, I hear all the time, you ought to do this and you should do that. But no one hardly ever comes back and tell you how. So I hope and I pray today that I'm able to show you the how to do certain things. So the first thing I want to do is dispel the myth. Don't believe the hype. We all can use room for improvement. 43 million Americans have a credit score of 599 or less. But hopefully after tonight, it won't be any of us. Okay. So I want you guys to know we got to start changing our mindset. So before I get into numbers and tips and strategies and tools, we have to deal with the mindset of it, because poor credit can cause us to have anxiety, embarrassment, frustration, fear, confusion. And so the first thing I would like to tell everyone is just to calm and relax, and to know that you can obtain perfect credit. It is such a thing as perfect credit. And so we want to give you something to reach toward, and know it, and have the hope that if you apply the information, you can actually achieve it. And so we want to self-discipline. We got to have that right off the bat. So before we even get into the slides, you have to take a self-assessment and say, hey, do I really want to improve my credit? Do I want to improve my tax portfolio or my business endeavor? Do I want better than what I have? And if you make that decision to do that, the very first thing you're going to have is self-discipline. You're going to have to start saying no. It's one of my words for 2021 is saying no. So a long story on that. That's a whole nother class. So 40% of millennials have spent money they didn't have to keep up with friends, and most kept it a secret. And so I don't want you guys to see what you see in the limelight. I'm a tax professional. Trust me, I see the numbers. Numbers don't lie. And so I want to make sure that everyone understands that we want to come into a realization that we need to improve our credit. Even if you have a 720, the new credit score high is an 850. So you still have room for improvement. If your credit score is a 599, don't feel discouraged. You can actually achieve that if you operate in self-discipline and if you're focused on your goal. All right, so the first thing that I want to get into explaining, hopefully you all are taking notes. If you are watching the replay, take notes. We want to make sure that you get this information and you have a good understanding of it. And so let's just dive right in. Payment history. So if you ever heard of, let me back up a little bit. There's the Fico scoring system, and it's a system, it has algorithms. And the way that the system works, it says, hey, if a person does these 5 things that we're going to discuss in just a second, then we'll give them an excellent credit score. And so it's almost like if you're on the first day of school, the teacher tells you, hey, everybody in here has 100. All you have to do is do X, Y, Z, and you'll end the semester with 100. And so we have to take that same approach with our credit. We have to look at it as, okay, I have 100 perfect score, and I just have to do certain things to maintain it. And whenever you fall off the wagon or come off track or come off task or just lose focus, you have to do what? Makeup work. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. So for those of us that have great credit, yay, hooray. So hopefully you'll learn some tips to make it even better. And for those of us that need to achieve a better winning good credit score, you're in the right place at the right time. These ladies have put something together great for you guys. I just need you to apply it, that's all. All right, so let's talk about the FICO scoring system. This is what I like to call the FICO pie, because if you look at it, it kind of split up into pieces. So 35% of your credit score is your payment history, meaning that if you paid on time or did not pay on time, that plays the biggest part of this pie. So making sure whenever you hear terms like credit repair and credit restoration, you want to make sure that you're in a position to really make a lifestyle change, not just a quick fix. Anyone that tells you that, hey, we can fix your credit in 30 days or less, run. So let me tell you why. There's a science to it. And to restore credit, or as some companies say, repair, I prefer restore, because restore means I'm going to bring it back to its original state, which is that 100% perfect credit. Repair sort of means like I'm going to put a Band-Aid on it and patch it up for a minute. So I want to get you to change your mindset. We want to restore our credit back to the perfect place that it was intended for it to be, so that we can all be excellent. We want great credit. You know, we want to look good, we want to feel good, and we want to have great credit to match it. All right. So 35% of your score is your payment history. If you pay your bills on time, and paying early is always good. And we'll talk a little bit about that in just a minute. All right. Then we have 30% amount owed. So for example, how much of your credit do you owe out? And we'll break that down in a minute. We'll talk about the debt income ratio. So amount owed means if you have a $100 credit card limit, let's say you have a credit card with a $100 limit, do you owe $99 on the card, or do you owe $10 on the card? So if you have it, the less that you owe, the better your score. And so we'll talk about how to split the payments up and how to get those numbers down. I just want to get you a general idea for right now. Length of credit. Oh, this is, even though it's 15%, it's very important, because length of credit can really carry some good weight for some of us. So if you ever heard of a company called Sears and Roebuck, I know it's like ancient, like where are they now? But there are actually people who still have a Sears card, and I tell them, do not close it, do not cut it in half. And the reason being because they've had those cards since the 1980s. And that played it played a big role in your credit score. The longer you have something, it shows longevity. It shows commitment. It shows discipline. So you don't want to close any cards. So let's say, for example, you no longer want to associate with a clothing store, maybe JCPenney's, and you say, I don't want to shop there anymore. Don't close the card. Keep it open. And the reason being is until you build up something that surpasses it, you don't want to close it, because longevity, length of credit, plays 15% of your credit score. And for some, that is major. So think about it. If your score is at 85% and you close that, that's going to bring you down to a below average failing grade. I'm just using the terminology of school so we can have something to relate to credit. New credit, 10%. And I know a lot of people say, well, why would I want new credit if I'm improving my credit? Well, credit is, if you don't use it, you lose it. Or if you don't have it, you don't need it. So if you don't have any new credit, the FICO scoring system feels as if, okay, you've had this credit account for 2 years, you've never applied for anything. And I know a lot of times people say, well, cash is king, I don't want any credit. Well, that's fine, long as you can get everything you want without credit. You don't want to buy a house, or if you want to pay cash for a house, great for you. But any time that you want to use someone else's money or someone else's program or someone else's funds, you will need credit. That even go for employment. Lots of times employers check your credit in order to hire you. So unless you own your own business and you're going to hire yourself, You would want to have good credit if you're seeking employment. Oftentimes employers do check credit. So you want to have new credit, which means you want to show some activity, show that I'm here, I'm a functioning, responsible adult, and I can utilize my credit responsibly. All right, and the last one, 10% types of credit. So you can't just have 5 credit cards and call it quits. You have to have a good mixture. Maybe a car note, house note, a jewelry account, a credit card. Now, one thing I want to kind of pause right here. We don't want you to go in debt to create credit. We want you to take the credit that you have and utilize what you have. And at some point, meet with your financial advisor before you make any major changes. Meet with your tax professional before you start doing anything, making any major changes. So I want to make sure that that is clear. So before, I'm going to say it again, before you start making any major changes in your credit, make sure you consult with a financial advisor. Okay, so I want to make sure I put that out there. And before I move to the next slide, if you pay attention to the screen, I have a website here, annualcreditreport.com. They have free credit reports. So I want everyone, and it's not the same as some of the, I'm not gonna call any names, some of the companies that say, hey, we report for free. This is the official website if you want to get a free copy of your credit report. And right now, due to COVID, they are also offering free credit monitoring, which means they'll keep an alert on your credit through April 21. So go ahead, take full advantage of it. Go to annualcreditreport.com. Okay. All right. And I know this is going to be a lot of information in a short period of time, but of course, you know, we're working with what we have. So stick around. We're going to tell you how you can get more information at a later date with more time. All right. So let's get right into some credit tips. Know your debt income ratio. Anytime you want to start improving or restoring your credit, you need to know where you really stand, honestly. So you want to get a copy of your credit report, like we just mentioned. You want to have a list of all your debt, every due date, when it reports. You want to know everything up. This is your credit, and it is generally attached to your Social Security number. So you want to know everything that you're responsible for. Okay, so that's very, very important. And you want to match that with your income. Everything that comes in, you want to know where it's going and why. Okay, you need to know that. This is before we can do anything else. We have to know what your real numbers are. And then the second tip I want to talk about tonight is strategizing your payoff. So I know a lot of times we say, I want to be out of debt. I'm going to be debt free. Okay, so you need to have a strategy to do that. You can't just go and pay off everything and expect your credit to improve. There's a strategy to it. So that's why I say it's very important to sit down with a financial advisor to get a consultation, to come up with a plan that's right for you. Sometimes paying off certain items early could hurt you. So you would need to know if there's an early penalty for paying off something early. Is it worth you paying it off early if you're trying to get your score up? Or can you afford to take a 10-point hit or a 20-point hit? You need to know that before you start paying items off. All right, credit cards and loans. This is so important. You need to know when it reports, not just the due date. So for example, you get the credit card statement and it says the credit card minimum payment of $20 is due on the 15th. That's important, but what's more important is when does it report to the credit agency? And the reason being, if it reports on the 7th of the month and you're just focusing on the 15th, it'll report if you're over or if you have extended your credit and you have in your mind, well, I'm going to pay it off before it's due. Well, it reported on the 7th. You had every intention of paying it down on the 15th. And you're wondering like, well, I paid it down before it was due. No, you need to know when does it report. And remember, all 3 credit agencies report at different times. So you want to make a phone call. Hey, when do you all report? And when is the due date? That is very, very important. The next tip, split your payments. Okay. So let me explain what I mean by that. If the credit card payment or the loan is due on the 15th of the month, and you have a balance that you have to pay of $20, that's the minimum. And so you want to pay that by the 20th. That's very important. That is good to have that on auto pay too, by the way. That's a little side note. But what you want to do on the 5th of the month, let's just pick a date. Pick on the 5th, you want to pay $10. And then on the 13th, pay the other $10. You still got the $20 paid in before the due date, but you want to split your payment. Whenever you decide, well, next month I'm going to pay $50 on my credit card, split it in half. Pay $25 one day, $25 the next day. Well, why do that? Well, one of the algorithms to the Fico scoring system, that makes it work. You get points for paying it that way. Now, if you want to know why after that, you know, like I used to tell my kids, why? Because I said so. You know, that's all I got for you. But split it up. It does make the algorithm system pick you up, and it does give you points for doing that, especially if you do that repeatedly. The next one, the Cosigner Rule. Don't cosign for anybody. No, just parents. You know, starting with myself, parents, if they need you to co-sign, they can't afford it. Okay, first rule. So no co-signing. And another reason why you don't want to co-sign is because in your debt income ratio that we talked about earlier, you have to factor in their debt as well, even though you're not the one paying it. But if you go to apply for a home loan or auto loan, they will factor in that other note that someone else is paying, but you have to put that into your income debt ratio, and you may not have enough income to cover that. So co-signing is a no-no in credit, because one late payment could ruin all your progress that you're making, okay? Do not zero out accounts, and do not zero out accounts monthly. So if your balance on your credit card or your loan statement is $500, and you want to pay it down, go ahead and pay $443. You know, just don't pay it to zero. I know that you're going to incur a little interest, but if you're building credit, that's a good thing, because you want to build. Now, if you're in a position to where you're saying, hey, I'm going to be debt free, I'm paying off everything, I don't want to owe anybody, then in that case, you would pay it off. But if you're in a position of building credit for a higher credit score, the worst you can do is have that credit card reporting at a zero balance at the reporting date, okay? All right, and I think I got a little time to slide one more little credit tip in there. If you decide that you want to use your credit card, I mean, if you're gonna go shopping, or if you're gonna go purchase groceries, pay bills, use your credit card, but take your debit card that's attached to your checking account, pay that credit card when you get home. So for example, if you're in Walmart and you get to the counter and it's $33.15, oh, I have the cash. Don't pay it with cash, because remember, you're building credit. Use the credit card. When you get home, pay that $33 to the credit card, okay? That is if you're building credit, and that's how you get it. You get it by utilizing it. If you don't use it, you lose it. If you want to build credit, you have to use it. All right, select the debt. Like I said earlier, we don't want you going into debt to build credit, because there's so many things that many of us already have. If we just know how to strategize on our credit report that we already have, we probably have everything that we need already. But however, if it is something that you do need, or if it's something that you're missing in your FICO pie, and you have to have something that will cause you to have a debt added, be careful in selecting it. Just don't run out and do it. Plan to succeed. There's nothing wrong with sitting down with someone, being real and honest, and okay, this is where I am, this is where I want to go, and let someone help you get there. All right, so we want to plan to succeed. And we will have Q&A toward the end, from my understanding. So I'm going to go through all the slides, so that we want to make sure that everyone gets the information uninterrupted. But toward the end, we will have Q&A. So if you have a question, jot it down, and we'll do our best to get get your questions answered. All right, budget and savings. I'm going to go through these really quick. So just kind of bear with me. But like I said, jot your questions down, and we'll answer. We'll get with you as soon as we can. Budget and savings, we want, and these are not in any particular order of importance. These are just some bullet points that I wanted to discuss with you all. We talked about restoring our credit. We want to make sure that each and every one of us have an emergency fund. If you already have one, let's add to it. Typically, an average emergency fund would be $1,000. And the way I always tell people, $1,000 per person that is in your home, or someone that is of importance. So for example, if you have a child at college away, you want to have $1,000 for that person too, set aside. Emergencies do happen. So you want to have on an average $1,000 per person that is in your home in an emergency fund, not a savings account. That's something different. An emergency fund is truly for an emergency. And that's all it's for. It's not for if the refrigerator goes out or if I got a flat tire, that will go into your savings. An emergency fund is a true emergency. You have to get on a plane, you have to fly across the country, you got 3 hours to get here. That's an emergency, okay? Personal development. Start getting into things that will help you better understand credit, taxes, finances. Volunteer with an organization. I know a great one right here, the platform that you're on. Get involved, volunteer. Do some things that will put you in an atmosphere of people that are moving forward. Residual. Get into something that will give you some residual income, not just your linear income. You want to also have residual income. And what would that do for you? That would give you some extra money to put into an emergency fund, to pay off some credit card debt, to pay down student loans. So you would want to have something that's not just pulling on your main source of income. You want a way to have residual income. And there are many things that you can do to have that. Like I said, make sure you speak with a financial advisor to get some insight on which one is best for you. Eliminate the things that aren't important. If there's something that you can do without, if you're in the process of saving money, emergency fund, restoring your credit, you need to eliminate some things. Recycle. And no, I'm not talking about recycling the trash, but I mean, that's important too. If we want to have green, go green, we want to recycle. But what I mean by recycle is taking some of the things that we have in our home, those clothes, ladies, with the tag still on them, that's too size, too small, we can kiss them goodbye. We need to go get those clothes, let it go. Okay, anyway, I have a grandbaby now, so I'm letting it go. So you get to get some things and recycle it. Guess what? Once we get where we want to be, we'll be able to go shopping again. We'll have a girl trip and laugh and talk all about it. But for right now, we need to recycle. There are some things in your home that you no longer need. Books you've read, you can recycle. Shoes, dishes, just things that you have stored in your pantry. Recycle those things. Unless it has a sentimental value, of course, we want to hold on. But other than that, recycle it. Use the money now, buy something else later. Retirement, make sure that each and every one of us have some form of retirement, and not just have it, but understand your retirement plan. Get with a financial advisor quick. Make sure that what you're paying for is what you truly believe that you have. Oftentimes we pay for things, we put it on, we set it and forget it. And then when it comes time to use it, it's not what we thought we had. So it's time to brush up, look into your retirement account. If you don't have one, let's get one. Accountability. Biggie. Get yourself an accountability partner. And I always tell people, it doesn't necessarily have to be a person. We often forget, another person, we often forget that we make agreements with ourselves. We wrote out to ourselves in our journal, our vision, all the vision board parties that we've had. I'm going to do this and I'm going to be here. And then we don't hold ourselves accountable. So either get you another accountability partner to help you say, girl, you're not supposed to buy that cappuccino today. No coffee tomorrow. You're supposed to be saving. You're going to have to say no to those, to those shoes because you said that you wanted to be debt free by the end of 2021. It's possible. You can put a reminder in your phone. Hey, don't forget to pay your credit card bill. So have some form of accountability, whether it's a person, an app on your phone, your vision board, get them out the closet, unroll them, put them on the wall, forget about being decorative, put that vision board up where you can see it. And our favorite, the Save and Goal Party. And what that is you set a goal that, hey, I'm going to save $1,000 by May, okay? By May 15th, I'm going to have an extra $1,000 saved. Set yourself a reward that doesn't cost any money, but maybe if it's, I'm going to, have ice cream and cake. I know we're in a pandemic. Normally a Save and Goal party would be invite your friends over and you all have a party, but you might have to do this one solo. But have a Save and Goal party, and you can't celebrate until you truly reach your goal. All right, so let's talk about taxes. Let's shift the atmosphere. I'm just gonna give you guys a few quick tips because we are in tax season, and taxes, of course, is one of my favorite subjects. I know. Really, yes, really. Tax shelters. You want to find out, when you start working with your, on your finances, you want to find out what's going on with your tax situation. Taxes are not just so that you can get a refund. It is not free money. If you're getting a refund, there's a reason why you're getting a refund. You need to find out why. Either you've overpaid throughout the year, or you have not properly allocated your tax withholding. There's a reason why. So you want to know why you're getting a refund. And if you owe, you want to find out, why do I owe taxes? Do you have credits? Do you have deduction? Did you overlook something? So you want to know what is going on with your taxes. And for a tax shelter, what can you do in your finances that would put you in a better position when it comes to your taxes, so you don't owe so much money? Because the more taxes you pay, that's less money you have to pay towards your mortgage, your car note, your student loans, things of that nature. Importance of accuracy. Don't just go sit somewhere and let somebody file your taxes, you pay them and then you leave. You need to know every detail of your tax return. What is on it? Why? If you owe, you want to know why. If you get a refund, you want to know why. You want to know that, because the importance of it is everything, when you submit that tax return, it becomes a legal binding document. And later on, you may need it for court. You may need it for a loan. You just never know what you may need it for. And whatever is on that tax return, you have said, I've signed and dated that this is true and accurate. So make sure that you know what is on your tax return. Credit versus deduction. I know a lot of times you hear, claim your deduction, claim your deduction. Credits are better. Deductions, you only get a portion. Credits, you get dollar for dollar. Okay, so that's a whole nother class for a whole nother time. So I just want to make sure that you understand some of the basics. I was so excited about the initiative of this program that I wanted to say, I want to get them all the information, and I'm trying to cram it all in. So just bear with me. Cash life insurance is a great way to go. Just kind of like I said, meet with a financial advisor. Make sure when it comes to insurance, that you're meeting with someone that's certified, that has a certification in insurance, and someone that is diverse and will listen to you. Someone that's not going to try to steer you toward their product, but someone that's going to steer you toward something that is beneficial to your future. So make sure that you're not being sold, but you're being educated in the process, okay? Ask questions, always ask questions. All right, so that's kind of wrapping up my presentation. What I do want to make sure that, I know there's a lot of information, and what I would want to do for anyone that is interested, you will go to my website, and you will book a strategy session. It will be 100% off, with free, no cost. The session usually lasts about 50 minutes. You will enter the code 100BWD, and the code will expire on the 28th, but that doesn't mean we have to meet by the 28th. That just means you need to go on and go ahead and book it. You can book it all the way out through, I think, April 1st, and you want to go ahead and do that. Get the strategy session booked. And what we're going to do in that session is going to take a real look at your portfolio, and we're going to come up with a plan. We're going to get an action plan together, and then that's going to be it. And we're going to come back in a couple of months, and you're going to let this organization know what you learned on tonight and how it has impacted you and how well you're doing, because we're going to be rooting for you, and it's going to be my mission to help you do that. And one more thing, anybody that knows me knows I like to give away things. I have a free book to give away to the first 3 people that use that code. It's called How Money Works. And it's through our foundation, AK Legacy Foundation. We work with financial literacy. That is the focus of our foundation. That's why I was so excited. I was like, yay. So anyway, so the first 3 people to use that code will get a free book, How Money Works. And don't worry, it's an easy read, a lot of pictures in it, so we like pictures. So anyway, first 3 people to use the code get the book. And follow me on Instagram. That way you can get the website where the book, the session and everything. And I appreciate the opportunity, ladies. Thank you all for having me. I'm going to stick around for Q&A, and I think I'm turning it back over to someone to take that Q&A session for me.
Thank you so much, Ms. Martin, for that great deal of knowledge that you've given us tonight. We have a few questions that have come in the chat, some directly and some were exposed to everyone. Our first question tonight is there a disadvantage to having a high credit score?
That is a great question. Yes, there is. There are some programs you may not qualify for, such as there are some housing programs. There may even be some financial assistance programs. and the qualifications may be that the organization is trying to work with people with just a certain economic status. But truly, if you have a high credit score, I don't see any disadvantage. We could even show you how to make that work to your advantage, but there should be no disadvantage.
Okay. Our next question is, what is a good debt to income ratio?
At least 3 times of your income. Your debt should be 3 times less than your income. So if you make $100, your debt should be like $33 or less. You need to be below, at least 3 times below your income would be a good debt to income ratio.
Mm-hmm. And what is the percentage should the credit card utilization be monthly?
30%. So let me explain that really quick. That was one of the things I probably forgot to mention. So if your credit card is $100 max, you want to pretend that the credit card limit is $30. So every month you want to use $30 or less. If you have to use more, you want to pay it down before the reporting date.
Thank you. And we need to verify earlier in your presentation, were you saying to split our monthly credit card payments? And if so, can you explain that a little bit more for us?
Sure. We're going to use the $100 again. Somebody about, I don't know, with the $100. But anyway, we're going to go with $100. The credit card bill is due at $100 on the 15th. You want to pay $50 on the 5th, $50 on the 13th. You just want to make sure that whatever you plan to pay by the due date, you split the payment in half before that date. At least split it in half by that date.
Well, that was a good question. How does student loan debt affect our debt to income ratio?
It factors in. Now there are plenty, it depends on what you're applying for. Plenty organizations, I'm not gonna say they ignore it. They look at how it's listed. Is it in deferment? Is it being paid? If you're in where you're paying for it actively, or you paying it on time? There's a lot of consideration. Lenders, I've worked with lenders across the years, and plenty of lenders, they work with student loans and medical. It just depends on how you have it. So if you are actively paying your student loan, pay it on time. The balance of it is usually overlooked. You know, of course, they're not going to tell you that, but I'm just telling you to kind of overlook it if you're in good standing. Just be in good standing.
Okay. And there was a direct question, does a debit card impact our credit scores?
Yes and no. So what do I mean by that? Your debit card is attached to your checking account. If you're going to buy a home, for an example, mortgage lenders generally want to see your last year's worth of credit card, banking statement. So they're going to see how you're swiping, how often you're swiping, what are you buying. It almost becomes as if you're airing all your business to them because they're monitoring how you use that debit card. So in that sense, it does affect your credit as far as your personal behavior. But as far as your credit score, it does not, unless you have overdraft fees and things of that nature, and you're turned into a check system or something.
Next question. When, if ever, should someone consider filing bankruptcy?
Hopefully never. I always say before you file, do meet with a financial advisor, not a consolidation company, a personal financial advisor to see if there's another option. However, if that is your only option, make sure that you be realistic, list everything that you need to list, have a payment plan that you can actually afford, and just stick to it. Do accordingly. Just keep your word, and trust me, it becomes just like any other debt. Another debt on there. It's not something that ruins your life. You can get beyond that. Trust me, bankruptcy doesn't stop you from doing a lot of things, only if you're not in good standing almost. It does have its negative, but trust me, you can outlive that.
Mm-hmm. For those with low credit scores, Ms. Martin, should they consider a secured card to help build their credit score?
Yes, absolutely. One of the best things you can do. You can get a secured credit card, or you can do a line of credit some banks offer a line of credit as well. That is an excellent question. You take $300, $400, $500 down to the bank. They put it in a savings account for you. They give you a credit card for the same amount that you put in. You treat it just like you would any. The only difference is they are holding your money for collateral. In case you run off, they have your money to pay the card off. Other than that, it is an excellent way to build credit. If you're in a position to do so, I would suggest doing 2 at 2 different banks.
Okay. Good answer. So if we're trying to build credit, does credit inquiries impact our overall credit score?
Yes, they do. Soft hits don't. So it's almost like a catch-22 question. Catch-22 answer. You have to have new credit to stay active. So that means you have to apply for stuff. That's the only way you're going to get new credit. You have to apply. But the science to it is not doing so much. So for an example, if I'm going to buy a car and I go to one car lot and I don't like the interest rate and I don't like the deal that they're going to give me, I'll go to another car lot. That is fine. If you're doing it in the same 30 days and you end up with a purchase, okay? So what that means is I went 2 or 3 places, I didn't get a good deal, but the one that I decided on, I had a lower interest rate, and they can see that. Creditors can see that when they're scouring through your credit. But if you start just applying for credit and you never really achieve anything and you just constantly applying and never close a deal, that could negatively impact your credit.
Okay. And we have a few requests. Could you repeat how we find a reporting date once more?
Simply contact the credit holder, whether it's a loan or your credit card or your mortgage. You want to call them and you want to ask, hey, I need to know, when do you all report and which credit bureau, credit agency do you report to? Not all report to all 3, but you want to find out where they're reporting to and when. Just simply make the phone call. That is information that is supposed to be disclosed to you.
If someone is purchasing a car, is it true that a car purchase can lower their credit score?
Any purchase can lower your credit score because it's going to take a hit. That's why it's important to not close credit cards until you get another one that's going to carry the hit. Because anytime you make a new purchase, it does take a hit to your credit score, whether it's a car, a house, a loan, credit card, it all takes a hit to your credit score. But normally in the next 45 days or so, when you make that first payment, it does go back up a few points.
And we have another question on credit, on the credit score. What events have the biggest impact on our credit score?
Late payment. Late payment.
Simple and plain, huh?
Yeah, late payments. I mean, you pay it on time. Do all you can. Just pay the bare minimum. Pay it on time. Just pay it. I want to warn people when they call for extension. Sometimes that doesn't save you from a late payment. That just means they're going to allow you time to pay it late, if that makes sense.
Are there any factors we should consider when preparing to purchase a house? Like, what lenders should we look for? Are there certain lenders that we should look for?
Well, I can't personally recommend any particular lender, but what I will tell you what to look for, a company that will, it depends. If your credit is a little challenged, you want to get with a lender that is going to sit down and not just deny you, but sit down and tell you, if you go back and you do X, Y, and Z, then you can come back to us and we could potentially tell you yes. Because you don't want to just get an like an online company or something where you go in and you apply and you get denied. I mean, you have no recourse of why and what. You want to go somewhere where you can sit down with the lender and say, hey, this is where I am. I would like to buy this type of house. And then they can look at your credit report and they can tell you, okay, this is what we need. You want to get with a lender that's going to work with you through the process. So what that looks like, maybe your local bank. I'm very big on staying local. Go online, do some research, find out what banks do what type of housing loans. It depends on what type of house. And if you have great credit, you still want to do that. You don't want to just go and just pick anyone. You want someone that's going to sit down and work with you to get you the best interest rate and the best house for your bucks.
Okay. What is the process to have errors removed from your credit reports?
Well, the first thing is getting all three. And then there's a fourth credit report to LexisNexis. I know a lot of times people don't know about it, but we want to also pull that one to LexisNexis. You want to get your credit report. So that's going to be your first step. And then going through it and finding out what is, sometimes things are on there twice. Sometimes things are just truly not you. So you want to go through that entire credit report line by line. Then after you do that, you need to identify where it was reported from, and you want to contact that agency in writing. You want to contact them in writing and explain to them this is not yours, and provide your proof if you have proof. Sometimes it's hard to prove that it's not yours if you don't have anything attached to it. But if it is something that is yours, it may say that you were late. You can even ask for forgiveness for them to remove the late payment and state that, hey, now I'm working on making sure that from here on out, I'm never going to be late again. Can you consider removing it? You just have to communicate. A lot of these companies, they want to, they win if you win. So they willing to work with you. What you don't want to do is when you get into third-party debt collection, I do suggest that you speak with a credit professional, because there are some laws, but there's a good thing to that. There is a law that protects us, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Anytime there are any erroneous errors on your credit, you are protected by that law that was put in place in 1974. A lot of people don't even know about it, the year I was born, but anyway. The Fair Credit Reporting Act, it is there to protect consumers. So there are some rules, some laws. You can always contact the Federal Trade Commission, the Better Business Bureau. So there are some recourses, some things that you can do to make sure that the erroneous items come off your credit.
Thank you. What is the generally, what is the minimal score for purchasing a home?
Lenders love 720 or better. There are programs that will work with you from a 580 to a 640 or so, or 680. 580 to 680 is where most Americans fall. So there are programs out there that will work with you depending on work history, savings, so you just have to have a little bit more in place going for you. But a happy number would be 720. That's when the interest rate starts getting lower.
We have another question from the chat. We have all heard recently about the higher electricity payments resulting from the recent storms in Texas, and some consumers have had huge sums taken from their accounts via autopay. Could you speak a little bit about the benefits and cautions of autopay?
Great question. First of all, my hearts and prayers are with everyone in Dallas. Dallas has a special place in my heart. There are some people that are in Dallas that are dear to me, and so I just love Dallas. So my hearts and prayers are to any and everyone that was affected by the recent storm. First of all, you want to get with your bank that you have your debit card with. You want to go ahead and meet with your banker, call them on the phone. You want to get that form and you want to dispute it, because if it's something that's really drastically, like if your bill is normally $50 and now it's $600, that's a big difference. So obviously there's something going on there. I really can't speak, too much to that because I don't know the situation. But anytime something is not right, you can get with your bank. They will allow you time to do your research because they're going to do their investigation as well. Now, they will tell you things like, well, in 30 days, we'll reverse this back if you can't provide proof. So that would get you some immediate relief, but then you have to be working on it because the bank is only going to allow you to do that so many times. So if you truly believe that you're a victim of fraud, you want to reach out to your bank. And also the Federal Trade Commission. They do not like price gouging. If that's the case, you can reach out to them, the Federal Trade Commission, and they will definitely look into it for you. I hope that answers the question.
I think so.
Okay.
That was a really good answer. Thank you. We have a few more questions. Do you have time for a few more?
I'm on you guys' clock. I'm good.
Thank you. What are some questions we should ask when seeking a financial advisor?
I love that question. One of my ask someone else. Ask for referrals and recommendations from their actual customers. Titles, we can pay for titles. I hate to be so blunt. Customer service is generally where I would tell you to go. Reach out. Of course, we can't make everybody happy all the time, but if you ask 10 people and 9 of them have a great report, chances are, somebody's not happy, that one person. But if you ask 9 out of 10 said no, then kind of go with the gut, don't do it. So that's my first tip. My second tip is making sure that they're not trying to sell you a product. You want a financial advisor that's going to take time to look at your portfolio, to go over it with you, to listen to you, to find out what it is that you truly want to do, and to help you put things in place that's going to help you reach your goal. Everything is not for everybody, and everybody is not at the same place at the same time. So you want someone with integrity. You want someone that's going to take time. I know you probably were looking for a list of things like degrees and all that. No, the very first 2 things you want is integrity, because when it comes to money, you need somebody that has integrity and someone who's going to have patience with you. That's really my advice.
Thank you. We have a few more on banking choices. What are some key differences between a traditional bank and a credit union?
Okay, that's great. It depends. If you're in business, you probably would want to, for a business account, you would want to use a traditional bank over a credit union, because credit unions are limited in certain things that they can do. If it comes to personal things such as a home or a car, if you can, link with a credit union. They generally have better interest rates and they have more flexibility. A traditional bank has a list of rules. Well, they all have rules with the FDIC, but what I mean is they have lending rules. And generally a big bank, big name bank, have underwriters that are off in some la-la land somewhere. And then with a credit union, it's more so of a local feel, has a board of advisors, is usually a nonprofit organization tied to it. So you have a better interest rate, better communication in most cases, not all. But the difference is the amount. So it just depends on how much money you're trying to move. A bigger bank would be better for bigger things, more small, more personal. I would suggest a credit union.
So we've seen some advertisements for online banks. What are your thoughts on these online banks? Like, does it make sense to use these or no?
Okay, so my grandmama always said, "You have nothing nice, don't say nothing at all" type rule. Certain online banks are okay. You want to make sure that they're federal, they're funded by, they're backed by the FDIC. You want to check the review. You want to make sure, check with the federal, I know I keep saying the Federal Trade Commission. You want to check with them, go, check their tax record. You want to make sure, somebody said prepaid card, use a prepaid card, I hate them because of the fees. I'm a financial advisor. We don't want to pay fees. We want to put that money in a savings, a retirement, a Roth IRA. I know it's only $5, but $5 every time adds up. And so I'm sorry, I got a little carried away. I don't like predatory lending. And to me, that's how I look at prepaid cards or some online banks. Make sure that it's a reputable company. That's all I gotta say. Now, not all of them bad. I have PayPal or things of that nature, because they have history. They do nonprofit work. So check it out. Don't just, oh, I can open an account here and do it, because if they go belly up, what happens to your money?
Directly from the chat I have a friend that paid someone $20 to take something off of their credit report immediately. Was that a scam?
No, let me tell you what it is. It's there is a, let me see how I can answer. I can't say if that was a scam or not, because I don't know the whole situation. So there are some companies that will erase your credit, and then you magically have good credit. And I say the word magically because just like in Cinderella, at the end of the night, when the clock strikes 12, the magic is over. So what happens with those type of services, when the time is over, your credit goes back to wherever it was. So for example, I can do an all dispute on your credit right now. I can dispute everything on it. It'll wipe the slate clean, but you got 30 days to prove everything. So you have 30 to 45 days or so to get all the paperwork in. And if not, it goes all the way back to where you started. So you have paid this company or this person to do something that has a time limit on it. Now, it definitely won't work for a house. because anybody knows, whoever bought a home, they pull your credit on the day of closing. So beware of any scams. I do not believe in that. I won't even take someone money to do their credit restoration if they're not willing to do the work. I've had people say, well, can I just pay you and you do it? You could, but I'm not taking it because that's not how I operate. I operate with, let's change your mindset first. What about your spending habits, your budgeting? What are you doing to get out of this situation? Making sure we don't come back here and you have to pay me again, which I won't be mad about that, but that's not what you want to do. To the person that paid the money to take it off, I'm not really sure what the whole situation was, but to truly restore your credit, it needs to be a process.
Is it true that you should limit credit card purchases when trying to buy a home?
It depends. Most, like I said, if you sat down with a lender, underwriters have their things. They look more so for behavior, not necessarily credit. Even though credit is a big factor, they're more concerned about behavior. So if you are in a position, if you are in a situation where you're about to buy a home, they will tell you to cease all spending, and they're looking for things of behavior. So in that case, I would still tell you to consult a financial advisor, get with the lender to see what the underwriter criteria are. And if you are getting ready to buy a home, you really shouldn't be making a lot of credit card debt anyway. So.
We have another banking question. When does it make sense to have funds in more than one banking institution?
All the time. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. You didn't heard that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Let me tell you why. You want to diversify your portfolio, and you don't want to have all your money at the same bank, especially if you are, I don't know if this is their situation or not, but let's say you overdraft on one account and you have another account at that same bank. You just switch the money right over. There's no pause and effect. There's no. Put your money, make it harder for you to do that. So put your money at separate banks. If you have a business, it's good to have your business account at one bank, preferably a bank that patronizes your type of business. You want to put your personal money at another, your savings, you just want to do that so that certain banks have certain things. For example, if you have a savings account, some banks have really horrible, well, most all of them have horrible interest rates, but some have better interest rates than others. You may not want to have a checking account there, but you may want to put a savings account there because of the interest rates or some deal they have for you. So you want to make sure that you're not just opening an account at a bank, but what type of account, what bank has what benefit for each type of account that you're going to have. So if it happens to all wind up at the same bank, I highly, highly doubt it, but yeah.
We have a direct question from the chat. Do you have any knowledge of the second Social Security number? Sorry, can't think of the other term that is used.
Nope, I don't have any knowledge of that. It doesn't really sound, I don't have any knowledge of that. I can find out though. I'm the type of person, if I don't know, I'll go digging and I'll find out for you.
Yeah, it's listed as a second Social Security number.
No.
What are your thoughts on investment clubs? That's another direct question from the chat.
I can't think of the name of them, but I've heard of, are you speaking of, oh gosh, I wish I could think of the name of it, where families put money together and then they pass it around. Are they speaking of that type of investment club, or can that person do a little bit more?
Like Robinhood. I got it. Yeah.
Oh, like an app, investment app. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I was thinking more so where there's some families put money together and then they pass it around. I forgot what they call it. They call that an investment club. Yeah, Robinhood, Stash. There are plenty of those. Those are fine, but I still would say you still would want to link up with an actual financial advisor, because you're putting your money there, you're taking a risk. Do you understand what you're doing? If not, you still want to have someone that you can trust to advise you. And even then, you still want to know what's going on with your money. So I have a Robinhood account. That's fine. They're credible.
Okay, we got a direct clarification from the second Social Security number question.
Okay.
She found that it's called a credit privacy number, and she has CPN in parentheses.
no knowledge of it. I would definitely love to look into that in case it's something good. I would love to share it. If it's something that's not good, I would like to share that as well.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Thank you. There's another question from the main chat. Is it true that you can have poor personal credit and build business credit without a personal guarantee, even if it is a startup or a fairly new business?
Okay, so I'm gonna answer that in two parts. You can build business credit without your personal credit. You do not need to use your social security number to build business credit. Matter of fact, I teach my client, if you are building business credit, never put your social security number on anything. That is because you're building business credit, and everything should be synchronized with the business name, address, everything should be all for the business. However, sometimes when you're going to make a major purchase or a loan, something such as, for example, over $50,000, and it's your first time out of the gate, they may want to pull your personal credit. They will ask you, hey, in order for us to move forward, we need a personal guarantee from someone, if it's an investor or you personally, who's going to stand up for this loan, because you have no credit backing because you're fresh out of the gate. But your business credit score may be 100, which is perfect for business credit. It's on a scale from 0 to 100. So if your business credit score is 78 or higher, you have good business credit. But if you go to apply for a loan, there's no history. So they may want to pull your personal credit, and they should have your permission to do so in order to have a backing, a guarantee. So it just kind of depends on what you're trying to do. But to get a computer, you shouldn't need it. You could just use your business credit. But if you're talking about 50 grand, they're going to want to know who's going to help us out. So yeah.
For individuals with checking accounts only, should they have a savings account?
Yes. And it doesn't necessarily have to be at a bank. If you want to put your money in a jar in your house, if you want to put it in a CD account, if you want to put it in an investment portfolio, you just need to have a savings somewhere, somehow. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a traditional bank, but you should have some type of savings.
When budgeting, what percentage of our budget should go to paying down debt each month?
Well, first, you have to see if you have enough money to do that. That's the first thing. So you really don't have like a magical number, because savings is after all necessities are met. Because first of all, you have to make sure you have shelter, food, clothes, things of that nature. Any extra money, that's going to be up to you to decide how much, how fast. So if you have $20 left at the end of the month, you have to decide, I want to be disciplined and put the whole 20 in savings, or am I going to put 10%? That's almost going to be a personal choice. But after all necessities have been met, then whatever is left should be what you decide what you want to do for as your savings. And disposable income should come after savings.
We have another business credit question. Are there any companies you would recommend to get business credit started?
Sure. I can recommend, and the only reason I'm recommending because I teach this class, so I've had a little experience about it. Uline, ULINE, is a good company to get started with. I know a lot of times with that big thick book and you're like, I don't need anything in here. Yes, you do. Ladies, they have great clothes hangers in there, so get them. Make your closet all synchronized and cute. That's what I did. That's what I actually did. For my business, I ordered clothes hangers because they didn't have anything in there that I could use to build that I would use in my office. It was just too many, like 5,000 envelopes. I didn't need that many. So I got hangers. So go through that book, see if it's something that you can use in your home-based business, in your actual business, things that you can give to your client. That is a great company. Your first purchase may have to be COD, but after 2 or 3 purchases, they will call you and they will extend to you business credit. Uline, I would highly recommend. Office Depot, Dell, and I'm not endorsing their products. I'm just telling you if the service works. So yeah, companies like that.
And we have one final question, and this question is about financial planning. Can you share some insight into ways financial planners are compensated?
Okay, all right. So for me, that's going to be twofold, because I have a nonprofit that does financial planning and we don't get monetary compensation. Our compensation comes from seeing the results, having a good report. That is our compensation. And then seeing you succeed, you know, that's more rewarding than any monetary amount. In my for-profit, it just kind of depends on, you just have to ask the question, what is your compensation? Ask it up front. You don't want to ask them about their money, but they don't have a problem asking you for it. So ask them, how much are you charging? And then you have to decide if you're comfortable and if you can afford their services. If they're not in your budget, catch them next time. That's going to be my advice on that.
Thank you so much. Well, Ms. Martin, on behalf of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Dallas Metropolitan Chapter's Economic Empowerment Committee, we thank you for being our subject matter expert on tonight, providing us with tips on basic money management. Our economic empowerment programs focus on financial literacy, family wealth building, and entrepreneurship. We are passionate about our mission, touching the lives and hearts of those who we serve. NCBW's partnership with Coca-Cola Foundation for this session is to cover managing credit, banking choices, credit cards, loans, savings, and where do we go for help. You covered all of that. We are grateful and we thank you. At this time, we're going to turn it over to our program's chair, Retta Washington McCoy. Retta, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. And Ms. Martin, let me tell you, I was trying to take as many notes as I could. This has been an excellent way to spend the hour on this Tuesday evening. So we thank you. We definitely thank our guests and our participants. I did drop two links in our chat at the beginning of the program. I dropped our pre-assessment link. We really do want you to take that pre-assessment. It is our desire to ensure that we continue to provide the type of content that you are looking for and the type of content at the level that Ms. Martin provided this evening. So we want to continue. You kind of set the bar, Ms. Martin. So we got to set it. We got to raise the bar, right? But I also dropped our session evaluation link in the chat as well. If you could, both of these are less than 5 minutes. Please take those evaluations or complete those evaluations. Also, you will receive an email after this session. We do actually upload all of our presentations to our YouTube channel, but we will also send you a link to the YouTube channel with this presentation so that you can review it again. Don't forget to please patronize Ms. Martin and take advantage of that complimentary one-on-one consultation. Sorry, I'm telling you, I was taking notes. I think I'm still on cloud 9. Like, okay, I'm going to take advantage of this consultation. Ms. Martin, I do want to repeat, the code is 100BWD, correct?
Yeah, 100BWD. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Absolutely. So please take advantage of that. It is not often that someone is willing to give of their time complimentary. So we appreciate that. And we ask that you take advantage of that. We also want to remind you of our purpose and why we are here, and just leave you with just a little food for thought. So as you leave this session today and you register for your complimentary session, we want to make sure that you take a call to action with you. What are some things that you can take back to your own community, to your personal community? What are some lessons learned this evening that you can share with your community, and how can we collectively increase the financial learning and literacy that we have in our own communities? We also want to ensure that we all have better banking choices, that we all have the ability to reach that 850 credit score that Ms. Martin told us about. And so we just want to make sure that we are able to ensure that we are reducing debt burdens in our communities so that we can continue to build wealth in our community. So we thank you, Ms. Martin, for sharing with us. We want to also invite you to continue to follow us on all of our social media outlets. You can see those on this page. We have a Facebook page. We're on LinkedIn. We're on IG. We are everywhere. We're on Twitter, YouTube, and we have our a website as well. So please continue to follow us. We want to continue to bring this type of content to the community, and we want to continue to partner with you, members of the community, in doing so. With all of that said, we will wish each and every one of you a safe, warm, and happy evening. And please know that our organization continues to keep each and every one of us in our thoughts and prayers as we continue to build a stronger community together. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you all for having me. Thank you so much.